Hi guys, my name is Marie and welcome to my Kawaii haul. So in this video, I want to talk about where to get good coffee in Seoul. I'm not talking about cafes. I'm going to talk about coffee shops that really take coffee seriously. So let's go check it out. Coffee Libre was founded in 2012, and this was the first specialty coffee shop that I visited in Seoul. And I went there specifically to buy coffee beans. And I think the original store is in Yeonnam-dong, which is near Hongdae. And there's also a shop in Gangnam, an express bus terminal, and another near Times Square. I don't know if this was inspired by Nacho Libre, the movie, but they've taken on this Mexican wrestler style branding with the luchador mask printed on all of their cups, which I think is really cool. On their Facebook page, they've posted photos of like the owner going to different farms to source the coffee. Their tagline is coffee with face. So they're putting a picture of the farmers on their bags as well as on their Facebook page. Everything's in Korean, but you can kind of tell by scrolling through it that whoever is putting up this information seems really passionate and knowledgeable about coffee. So this is actually one of my favorite places to go to purchase coffee. The prices I find are really reasonable compared to other places in Seoul, and the brand just seems really authentic, and what's more important is I actually really like this coffee. Terrarosa is based in Gangneung, which is about 3 hours east of Seoul, and I think that Terrarosa is probably Korea's most established coffee retailer. They have locations all throughout Seoul, and they all seem to have a restoration hardware type of vibe to them, although they all sort of have a different look and feel. Their baked goods are really good, and they sell award-winning coffees that have won the Cup of Excellence award. And that's a really prestigious award. There's a competition that's held annually, and coffee growers from all over the world come to compete, and then coffee shops will have to purchase those beans at auction. So Terrarosa does sell some of that coffee. I purchased a bag for about 32,000 won, which I didn't know at the time. When I looked at my receipt, I had a little bit of sticker shock because I didn't check the price when I picked up the bag, but you better believe that I drank every last drop of that coffee. But their regular bags go for about $20 US for about 250 grams, which I think is expensive, so I don't really buy coffee from here. So for the next two coffee shops, I want to take you to Cafe Street in Hapjeong, and it's about a 10-minute walk from Hapjeong Station out of exit 7. So while we walk there, let's just talk a little bit about the history of coffee. If you find this boring, then go ahead and skip ahead to about 4:48, where I'll talk about Bean Brothers, which is the next coffee shop. But the first wave of coffee was in the early 1900s with brands like Folgers and Maxwell House in the US, and what they did was they made coffee accessible to the masses to drink at home. In Korea, I would say that instant coffee companies like Maxim really brought coffee to the masses. And the second wave of coffee refers to places like Peet's Coffee, which was founded in the 1960s, and Starbucks in the 1970s, and those brands really elevated coffee. They introduced espresso-based drinks to the masses, and they created cafes that were like social spaces where you can just linger, hang out with friends, or study. Starbucks came to Korea in 1999, and it was followed by Holly's Coffee, Via Coffee, Tom & Tom's, Peck's Coffee, and Cafe Bene, and those are all second wave coffee shops. Now what I'm talking about in this video are third wave coffee shops, and those brands really elevated coffee to a product akin to wine. They created different flavor profiles for coffee. That's where you hear about coffees having a hint of chocolate or a peach aroma to them. They really made coffee an artisan good. And this is where you start to hear about single origin coffee, which is coffee that's sourced from a single crop or region or producer. And the most important thing is its traceability. You know exactly where your coffee is from, and it's usually of a higher quality, and it has certain characteristics that are specific to the area in which it was grown. So Bean Brothers actually invited me to their Intadong coffee shop to talk about coffee, and that's what inspired me to make this video. So I want to say thank you to Bean Brothers, and let me know in the comments if you guys want to see an in-depth video about them. Bean Brothers began as Able Coffee Group in 2013, and they started out as an online subscription business, and they really started to grow in popularity just by marketing online and through Facebook. In 2014, they decided to open a warehouse in Hapjeong, not really intending to create a cafe. It was intended to be a showroom for their wholesale customers, and they also held tasting events for their online subscribers. So they used an old alcohol warehouse, and they didn't really make a ton of changes to the look and feel, but as a result, it has this industrial Brooklyn type of vibe that really appealed to people, and it became really popular. This area wasn't a high traffic area, but I think that people were really drawn to it, even though it's about a 10-minute walk from the subway station, and it became a nice place to hang out. They have other cafes throughout Seoul, including one that's in the heart of Gangnam, and they also have a new cafe in Incheon. The Incheon cafe has a really different look and feel to the others. It means flow, and it's intended to be a really calming space. The cafe decor was kind of inspired by Korea in the early 1900s, which is fitting given the location in Incheon. Bean Brothers roast their own beans in a large warehouse in Incheon, and they take a scientific approach to roasting the beans, where they consider the diameter and their circumference of the bean when calculating the roasting time. So Bean Brothers gave me a free bag of the lighter roasts, which were really different from other coffees that I've tasted. I think they vary these flavors by the month. They were really light and fruity, and they're really just a different kind of coffee than I've ever had before. In their cafe, I tried the black suit, which has a darker, more chocolatey aroma to it, and I really liked it. The products that are sold in each of their cafes seem to vary slightly. In their Gangnam location, they had this matcha espresso drink topped with thick cream, which was super decadent and good. So about a 7-minute walk from Bean Brothers is where you'll find Anthracite Coffee. On the way, you can see a big yellow Maxim coffee shop that I think recently opened. Anthracite is another well-known cafe in Hapjeongdong that really takes coffee seriously. The cafe is housed in an old shoe factory, and it still retains this industrial look. The counter looks like it's made of an old conveyor belt, and on the weekends this place will get packed with people despite being quite a walk from the subway station. They have roasts that are named after famous authors like Pablo Neruda and William Blake, but some of the other coffee names are called things like the Butterfat Trio and History Mystery. Anthracite is coal in its hardest and purest form, and the motif on the coffee bags is a piece of black coal. They have a few baked goods that are made on site, and they pair really well with the coffee. I noticed that at both Anthracite and Bean Brothers, the barista will taste each batch of hand-dripped coffee that he or she makes before serving it to the customers. Anthracite has another store in Hannam-dong, and that's the one that I usually go to because it's just closer to where I live and it's a lot more accessible. Their coffee goes for about 10 to 15,000 won for a 200-gram bag. If you enjoyed that video, be sure to check out these playlists right here, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel and turn on your notifications bell for more videos like this. I'll talk to you next time. Bye!